Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Elsie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Damaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Upper Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Cash when it's time.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans! Welcome to another episode and the opening of Women's Wrestling Month. And I am Joe Panther the Third, and welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now, for introducing from the top of Metal Mountain all the way down to all 50 states and the globe, it's the Happy Heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
Not too much, man. Happy Women's of Wrestling Month.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome. And you ready to introduce our guest?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
This woman has been seen at Magic City and some other great promotions. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Tgains.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey.
Welcome.
Going good.
Finally got a chance to meet you, and so if our fans aren't familiar with you, and why would they not be, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Taylor Gainey. I'm from Brooker, Florida, which is actually a very small town. No one's really heard of it. I normally just say I'm 30 minutes from Gainesville, Florida, because everyone knows who the Florida Gators are. I was born and raised on a farm. I had been wanting to wrestle since I was like 12 years old, and my parents have always been so supportive of that ever since I was a kid. And so when I had graduated high school and I had that freedom, I took that chance to get to go to a wrestling school and start my dream on this journey. And I've been wrestling for 2 years now.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. That's something that every kid dreams of. Like they live in a certain place and they've always wanted to wrestle. And now you're doing like the dream. You're actually in the ring now. So like who trained you?
I had trained at Flatbacks Wrestling School, and so my two trainers he was Tyler Breeze on WWE, that many people know him, and my other coach was actually in WWE as Ty Dillinger, but now he's with AEW as Sean Spears.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. What was it like working with them?
Oh, it was crazy because I had watched them when I was a kid. I remember seeing Tyler Breeze at NXT shows before NXT had really blown up. They would come to like my little hometown, like 30 minutes away from home. And so I got to see them right as their like NXT developmental stage up until they were in WWE. So these were like my little idols. So like the first day of class, I was like just blown away, just in awe of these people I grew up watching and wanting to meet, and now they're the one that's teaching me how to wrestle, how to do what I've always dreamed of. So they're phenomenal at what they do.
That's awesome. So what was your first match like in front of a crowd? Like, and who did you wrestle?
My very first match was actually in Miami. I was with FEW, and my first match was against Amber Nova.
Amber Nova, wow.
That name sounds so familiar.
She's on AEW Dark right now. So.
Okay. That's why I know that name. I'm like, I know the name Amber Nova. Watch. I'm gonna look that. You know how when you're on your iPhone and then you say something and it'll pop up on your phone like an hour later. It's gonna pop up and go, oh my god, I know that name. Why do I feel like an idiot now?
Yeah, she's on AEW Dark now. So
that's why I know Amber Nova.
Yeah.
So is there anywhere else in the world that you would like to travel to wrestle or just travel for vacation?
I've actually been offered some ideas to go to Japan and Puerto Rico. But after COVID kind of happened, a lot of that big traveling kind of stopped. But I would love to go to those places. And I've heard of wrestling in the Bahamas, and that sounds like that would be awesome.
That's something different right there. You don't really hear wrestling in the Bahamas, right?
No, you're vacationing in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Not wrestling in the Bahamas.
That's something different right there.
I wonder if in the Bahamas they wrestle
Yeah.
outside, because that'd be fun. Because the way how it's sunny all the time and it's nice and beautiful, like I would go to an outdoor wrestling event.
I think Jericho's cruise went on there though. I think Chris Jericho had.
Yeah, I've never wrestled outside. I've seen like other people have matches and stuff, but mine's always been inside a building, and I'm like, I would so do that. It seems like it would just be like a whole different kind of atmosphere.
It really is, Tgains. Me and Geek went to our first wrestling show since during the pandemic. Last July, we got invited to go to a show on Long Island called New York Wrestling Connection, and they invited, we had to pay a ticket, but they invited us to come in and watch the show. It is so weird being outside watching a wrestling show, and it was not, might I add, it was 100 degrees out that day.
I don't think it was 100. I think it was 90.
I sweat.
It was probably 90. It was 90, but it felt like 100 and 100.
I'm gonna die on this hill, Tgains. My poor dude's at ringside hat has a battle scar on it from a sweat stain. So I felt like it was 100 degrees. My hat has a poor like sweat stain. I've never had a sweat stain on this poor little hat. So I'm gonna die on this hill. It was 100 degrees. Don't believe Geek.
Yeah, if I wrestled outside, I would do it in the winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, would you like to wrestle in the cold, or would you like to wrestle like in the heat? I mean, indoors or outdoors? That was the big question. I botched that one.
You failed, Geek. You didn't get.
Would I want to wrestle indoors or outdoors?
Yeah.
I would say outdoors for the whole experience of it. I feel like I could do it in the summer where it's super hot, but I feel like I'll go out there when it's even cold in the winter. And I know in the buildings, we're not like crammed in, but I feel like outside, just all the openness of it, I just feel like that would just be another step, another new experience that I would love to do.
There's another place that if you ever think, you said you're going to go Bahamas or Puerto Rico, definitely think about also trying to go to the UK. There's a lot of good indie promotions over there too.
Oh yeah, and
it's Tgains.
Yeah.
It's funny when I went to Flatbags Wrestling School, because people come from like all very far places to go to school there. There was one person that was from Italy and another one that was from the UK. And of course, after the class is over, they go back home, and I'll ask them like what it's like. And my friend from the UK, I would love to go and travel over there and do some work over there.
There's some really good indie promotions that you should put in your notebook if you ever travel to the UK. Or think about it. Coventry Pro Wrestling. That's one that
obviously the big ones, Joe. Right?
Yeah, Coventry. Coventry's because we talk to them a lot.
Yeah, Progress and Rev Pro.
And UK Wrestling. That's another one. Progress, UK Wrestling, Coventry Pro. What's that other one you always talk about?
Fight Factory.
Fight Factory and Powerbomb. Is it Powerbomb?
Power Slam.
Power Slam.
Yeah. Power Slam is down in UK.
I told Geek, if we go to England, you said you want to go sightseeing. Your ass is screwed, Geek. Because they'll be like, "Can you come to our show? Can you come to our show?" They read our mind. What's your favorite food?
They know what we like to talk about here.
My favorite food. Coming from a farm, I would definitely say burgers.
Burgers, definitely.
But sometimes when I am feeling bougie, I will eat sushi. I love sushi.
Me too.
Not a fish person, but that's.
Well, you can see Geek doesn't know the experience. Just you didn't get the assignment. You could actually have sushi without fish in it, Geek. You could have the vegetarian. You have the California roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thing is raw though. I want to eat anything raw. Everything I get is the fish that's in it. I have it cooked.
Yeah, there's the one that has the fried outside. It's almost like a cone, and they stick it inside there. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one. I eat the raw stuff. I'll go after the spicy tuna and the eel and stuff like that. And if I want to just slow it down at the end of my pile of sushi I'm eating, I'll go for the California roll. I'm like, I don't know how my stomach's gonna feel after all eating all this sushi. Like, ugh. Yeah, I don't know how my
I remember one time I tried baby octopus, and I was like at the sushi place, like this is the one time I may try it. And they bring me this little octopus, and almost like a baby, and I'm sitting here feeling bad for even trying.
Jeez. Just one. There was one time we went to I don't know if it was sushi or just a Chinese food place. It was sushi. They gave us fish jaw.
Yeah.
My mom was not having it. It was, I guess it's a delicacy. It's like an appetizer. My mom's like, we didn't order that. No. Yeah. All right.
So what would you say your favorite matches? Some of your favorite matches are.
What was that?
What was your favorite matches? Like, I guess growing up, I guess that's what he meant.
Like your favorite matches.
My favorite match that I had was actually in Georgia when I wrestled Avery Bro, and we had done one-on-one competition before, just a regular match, and then wanted to spice it up a little bit, and she challenged me to a chairs match.
Wow.
And the place erupted. We was just about to start the match, and then she had gone on the mic and wanted to spice things up a bit, and I said sure, and that was probably the funnest match that I've had.
So you go hardcore. You do the hardcore stuff. So like, is there any limit on hardcore? How much hardcore you would go?
Honestly, no. That's one thing I would. And some people's like, "Oh, you're dumb doing that to your body," and I'm just like, I'm living the dream, and I'm like, I'll do anything.
Yeah. There's a lot of wrestlers that come in the podcast. They kind of like, they say, "Oh, I go hardcore," but then when I say, "What's the limit?" and then they go, "Oh, I don't want to do deathmatch," and I'm like, then there's a limit. You say there's no limit, but then you won't go into the hardcore world. You go hardcore, but you don't go. You go PG WWE hardcore. You don't go like
or AEW or AEW hardcore.
AEW hardcore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Although they did have one match with Glass though.
So would you like if a promoter said, "Okay, tonight we're gonna have you do like a barbed wire match, exploding barbed wire match," would you be like, "Sure"? You're like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I say let's do it.
Oh wow!
Let's just
Okay.
for the fun of it.
Remember that, Vinny. Remember when you're talking about matches? If you had to do a.
Remember we talked to all promoters, so they're like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Yeah.
It's funny. Then my mom is so sweet. She's the most sweetest little person, and she's always telling me, like, to watch what I do with my body and don't get hurt. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And then here I am, like, let's throw tacks on the ring. Like, let's just do it.
Oh, geez.
So you said tacks. You like? I know you just said tacks, but if there was Legos, would you grab the Legos or the tacks?
I would say let's go the most lethal. That's the most entertaining. So bring on the Legos.
Yeah.
Well, you go next, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
People want to know what your thoughts on the Royal Rumble match are. If you watched it last night.
Oh yeah, that's one thing with me and my family. We set up a whiteboard and we'll write down the match cards of like everything and our guesses and our predictions. And I will say that what I love so much about the Royal Rumble, and especially watching the women, is when I had first started watching wrestling, the women main eventing, having all like the time that they do wasn't that big of a, I won't say that big of a deal, but it just didn't happen. And so getting to watch Royal Rumbles and everything that they're pushing right now for the women and having the time and having the spotlight that they do. I love sitting, I love analyzing everything, all of the women, and I just admire it so much being a woman myself, stepping into wrestling now and just seeing how much women are more pushed and more used and getting the spotlight that they deserve, just like the men.
Yeah. Go.
So I was just gonna ask what your thoughts on the actual Royal Rumble match was last night. If you watched it,
They probably did.
yeah.
I dropped out just a little bit.
Oh, he wants to know what you thought of the actual Royal Rumble match. Like, what did you think about that?
I may be losing you guys.
Oh no, he was asking what did you actually think of the real Royal Rumble match? He said. Oh. No. Can you hear us? Tgains? Can you still hear us?
I'm sorry, everything's frozen for me.
Uh-oh. Kiku. All right.
But I just wanted to know what you thought of the Royal Rumble match. That's all.
She can't hear you, Geek. She says everything's freezing.
Okay, Joe.
I'm trying to help. You were yelling at me. Oh, okay.
All right. So, anyway, you guys. I mean, if you have to go, you have to go. But
if you have to go, Tgains, we understand because of the Wi-Fi.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Loud and clear. Yeah, just keep talking. We hear you loud and clear. And if you can't, that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, if you have to go, I mean, we want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Tgains. We really appreciate it, and we're so happy you came on. All right. This is Joe Panther the Third and the Metal Geek, and we will see you in the next one. Smile at the camera.